All right, I'm Joanna with Blissful Baby Sleep Coaching, and I'm so excited to do a celebration call with Laura and Carl, who has a baby boy that was 9 months old at the time of sleep training. And we're here to share their journey of a complete family sleep transformation. Carl, why don't you tell us what sleep was like before you called me?
There was very little sleeping to be had. Yeah, we had our baby in our bed, co-sleeping most nights, and even with that, he was waking up every hour and a half, and both me and my wife Laura were awake and just constantly passing the baby back and forth,
Hmm.
and we were just run ragged, and we kind of were at our wits' end with trying to figure out sleeping, and nothing was working.
Yes, and nothing was working. I should also mention they have an older child. So, that child was sleeping well, which is amazing. But, you're still like, wait, I've got to, what if that other child wakes up? Now what? Right?
Yeah, and we thought we kind of figured out what was like the right way to do it, and because we had one that was sleeping great, and this one's just like different story entirely.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like we were dealing with like every single sleep issue in the book. Like he
Hmm.
was like needing to be patted and rocked and fed to sleep. He was like, not napping in his bed, not sleeping in his bed. He was contact napping, early wake, like
Mm.
just false starts, like waking
Hmm.
throughout the night. It was just like
Hmm.
every single thing you can imagine was happening, and we were so like so over it, and it was so mentally physically draining. And it just
Hmm.
like felt like we were just barely surviving every day.
Exactly, exactly. And what made you decide to reach out for help?
Yeah, well, like Carl said, like we kind of thought like we had hired a sleep consultant for our first child. We slept trained him, and so we kind of thought like, and also like I just tend to be a internet deep dive person for better or for worse, and so like
Yeah.
I felt like I'd kind of heard it all.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I also we both felt strongly about using like a really gentle method, and so it felt like our options were really limited. And so we figured we would just do what we did before. And it just was not working. It was not the right fit for
Hmm.
our younger child. I just knew too, like his temperament is just super, super different.
Hmm.
And even though I felt like we like knew stuff, we so badly were just like, had not one brain cell left
Yeah.
to make any type of decision. Or like, even if we had all the books in the world, I'm like, we needed somebody who would tell us like what to do and tell us that it would work,
Yeah.
because there's so much noise, as we talked about online, about like just do this, just do this, just do this, and they'll sleep. And it was like there's way too much information out there, and when you already don't have any brain power, we just like we needed somebody to hold our hand, um and just like tell us what to do. It was just we were so our quality of life was so bad that I was like, we
Mhm.
can't figure this out on our own anymore.
Right. Yeah. So there was this attempt to figure it out on your own because you had had success with sleep training your first child at 14 months. And so you're kind of like come into this time like, hey, I'm a second time mom. I've got more confidence. I'm a deep dive researcher. We're going to get this, we're going to figure this thing out. And then when you're figuring it out, you're like, wow, this is way hard. And I should tell everybody that Carl was the sleep coach. Him trying to figure it out too and trying to be the hero of the story, it's like, wow, this is not working. So what was it like then, right? So then you're like, okay, we're going to reach out for support for the second time. We realized that we can't do it on our own. So, what was it like to get that one-on-one hand-holding experience? And Carl, maybe you can start because you were the sleep coach, so you were really taking one for the team on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the get-go, it's like there's so much information out there. It feels like we started thinking, yeah, we have the information, but there's a huge like chasm between having the information and then having the right information and distilling it down into exactly what you need for where your baby is.
Mhm.
And I think that like set us up on this trajectory where it was like all of a sudden everything clicked into place.
Yes.
And the amount of friction of like feeling like we were fighting sleep to like recognizing every little thing that was going on and just how all the dominoes seemed to, or everything just seemed to align and everything
Yeah.
clicked into place.
Mhm.
And so I think that was like the biggest difference.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that what was so amazing about your first night of coaching is you said everything you told me would happen, I saw in real time. And so it was just so, maybe you can talk about that, like how
Yeah, I
assuring
mean,
that was.
yeah, it felt like I had a crash course. It was, I don't know, it was, I almost imagine it, I'm like, I don't know, like if I was a military person and I had like a briefing beforehand and knowing exactly what to do, when to do it, and just made it so easy. It took the stress off of like
Yes.
fumbling around in the middle of that stressful situation.
Right.
And like some of the infographics and kind of the training beforehand, like I
Mm.
like as he's crying, like I'm imagining him like cycling through and settling and just being able to kind of classify, oh, this is a settle cry. Like I can wait through this rather
Yes.
than feeling the pressure of like, oh gosh, am I supposed to support him and pick him up or pat him or what?
Right. Like, so it gave you like the hand holding and really understanding the sleep science and the behavioral science and all the cues really brought confidence
Yeah.
in the live action when you were there coaching. And for mom, I know Laura was like, I just need to make sure that I feel comfortable with everything that dad's doing and that we're in alignment, right? Mom, maybe you can speak to that, like how you're a little bit tear sensitive and how you trust Carl, obviously, but this feeling that, yeah, I'll let you speak.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think both Carl and I, sorry, a very feral baby over here playing. Um, both of us really like wanted something more gentle, but I think Carl has a little bit more tolerance than I do for crying, and not in like a bad way, but just more like he has more patience to like wait it out, and I'm just immediately like as soon as I hear him crying. And so I think having a neutral, like science backed, like third party to tell
Mhm.
us like what like to give us guidance on like what types of cries are cries to be concerned about and like which types of cries are like okay to wait out and just having like a really clear plan because part of it also like Carl and I would kind of say like okay tonight like pre-coaching we would try something and then we would kind of disagree on like how long we should let him cry and like and then we'd be like snipping at each other in the middle of the night and then like well what do we do and neither of us really have like the right answer
Right.
so having and something concrete to go back to somebody who actually like knows what they're talking about because we don't know what
Mhm.
we're talking about was
Mhm.
really comforting and really just took down like all of the bickering and the fighting
Yeah, like a unifying. Yeah, that's a
yeah
big thing. That's a big one. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a big thing. Like what I like to say often is like you guys both agree that you want this baby to sleep, and yet you're arguing about the very thing that you agree upon, right? And so when I'm working with a family, I do love to get dad involved because broken sleep is not a mom issue to figure out. It's really a family system issue. And when we have a solid plan and we work it in a very slow, sequential, methodical way, it becomes very easy to implement. And in that slow, methodical, sequential way, if we have a mom that's like worried or anxious, she's really grounded in the sequence, and dad is really grounded in the sequence. So then all of a sudden there's unity. It's like both feel comfortable, we both see the progress, and it just takes all that friction, just goes poof. It just disappears. And it's such a relief because then we're just working with the baby instead of working against each other with, well, I want this and I want that. And why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that? Like all of that just phew, relief. It's so beautiful. So what is sleep like now? Okay, so I should tell you guys that, you know, you heard all the things that this baby had, like a lot of things going on. And
yeah
mom was like, I don't know, man, is this even going to work? And if it's going to work, how damn long is this going to take? And I
yeah
should say that we were able to night train him and nap train him all within a month's time.
hmm
So what does sleep look like now from both nights and naps?
Yeah, well, to add to a little bit back to the last question too, which was like I think something that was really helpful was breaking it down. I guess this is sort of I wanted to
Yeah.
add this to the last question, which was um it was so relieving to like break it down into pieces because I was like, there's how is a child going to go from like all the support in the world to like a whole night of sleeping on his own, like in his own room, in his own bed. Like there is just no way, you know, it's like I trusted everything you said, but I was like, how is this gonna work? And then
Mhm.
being able to break it up felt so much less daunting to me. I was like, the fact that we could like work on the onset of sleep and then later continue to like co-sleep for the rest of the night was like, oh my gosh, this feels so much less intense than I feel like any other
Mhm.
program offers. And so with that, like he adapted a lot quicker than I think all of us expected. Like I was like, even on night one of training, I told Carl, I had left the house, which was helpful. I told Carl, I was like, reminded him of like, hey, by the way, remember, like, this is our criteria for when we just give up for the night. You know, like Joanna said, we could give up after like this and this, and we'll reevaluate tomorrow. I was just like, there's no way, you know? And so
Yeah.
we didn't have to give up. He did
I
it.
didn't have to give up. I know
Um,
mom was so ready to be like, all
I was
right,
like,
it's
we'll
not
see.
working. I know, right?
And so now, like, truly, he is putting himself to sleep. He's sleeping through the night most nights, sometimes with a feed that's like a true, genuine feed, goes right back to sleep. He falls asleep on the onset of his naps now. He's napping in his own bed. Like, everything that we wanted for just like a normal sleeping baby, is our reality, which is just like I literally would not have believed myself. Like there's like it felt so unattainable to do it in a way that felt like gentle and didn't feel icky. And like
Mhm.
even though of course he like protested, I really and I'm very sensitive to that, and I really did not want a lot of crying. Like it felt so like as gentle as it possibly could have been, and I just really did
Mhm.
not feel like bad in any way for like the level of protesting that he did, or his behaviors. Like felt like we really understood the science behind it, and it really helped.
I love that, Mom. Thank you. That's why I call it guilt-free gentle sleep coaching because as moms, w- any excuse we have to feel guilty, we will grab onto it. But what's great about this is the thing you're most afraid about feeling guilty of, which is sleep training your baby and having them in their own crib, is relief. Now there is no guilt because you're like, oh my God, he was so ready for this. And oh my God, he can do it. And oh my God, Carl was the coach, which meant I didn't have to do it. Uh, and no more arguing in the middle of the night at 2 a.m.
Sorry,
You
I
know,
lost my baby over
you
here.
lost your baby. Yep. See, he's right on the verge of walking, you guys. Like that's often happens right after we sleep train. They just get super busy with their milestones. Okay, so last question, let's see what other question I want to ask you guys. Oh yeah, what's possible now that wasn't possible before? What are you able to do in your life now that you could not do a month ago?
Carl, you want to take this
It feels like everything's possible. I think like the common theme for me is just like freedom. I felt like his sleep just kind of overtook our lives, and now like we don't have to think about that. We can think about other things.
Yeah.
Like we can think about date nights and having other people like grandparents take care of him and put him down to sleep. And we can have, post sleep sanity where we actually get to connect as, husband and wife at the end of the day and not worry about these like wake ups and everything. Um, yeah,
You
it's
have
like
your
a huge,
master bedroom back. Oh my
yeah,
God. Oh my God. Adult space.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
it's just
Yeah,
this
because even when
huge.
he was in our bed, it was like not quality sleep for anybody, you know? It was like it wasn't a solution. Even the co-sleeping was like I know co-sleeping solves it for a lot of people. They're just like, okay, we'll just co-sleep. It wasn't even a good solution for us, you know? It was like
We
nobody
didn't
was
even want
still
co-sleep.
sleeping well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say co-sleeping can be absolutely magical, but that's only if every single person is sleeping beautifully. If the baby's up all night and then the parents are up all night. It's not really co-sleeping at that point. It's called reactive co-sleeping. It's not this like joyful, magical closeness. It's just reaction to a bad situation. Yeah. So what's possible for you now, mom, that was not possible a month ago?
Yeah, similarly, I mean, a lot of it is obviously like physical, like physically being able to actually do things like that I need to do. But so much of it, I mean, to me has been mental. Like I just like cannot emphasize how miserable I was. Like I feel like Carl can attest to like how many times I just cried and literally said the words like, this is miserable. This is like actual torture. It's like we felt so trapped. We felt like it was just like sleep was all we could think about because it was just so dominating our life. And I felt like I can't like enjoy my kids in this season. Like this is not how I want to look back at my
Hmm.
like baby's first year of life. And like everybody tells you to like cherish these years. Like you go to the grocery store and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, just like cherish these moments." Like I remember when my kids were this little, like just don't forget you're gonna like miss this when they're older. And I'm like, I would love to feel that way. It is feeling so stressful. Like I don't want to feel this way about my kids. And
Hmm.
just mentally feeling like I have so much more, you know, mental energy and like I can actually like I don't feel this like resentment toward my baby, which is just like an awful feeling to have as a mom. You know, like nobody wants to
Hmm.
feel that way, but I'm like, it's not your fault, but I don't know, like I cannot stand this, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
But just having my mental sanity back and also just like having my time back and just, you know, as Carl kind of alluded to, also just like nothing, I couldn't even like dream of like planning a vacation or like going on a date night because I was like, that's just like so not in the realm of like anything that feels worth dealing with. You know, it's just like we could try to do a vacation, but it's going to be miserable. And it just opens up the possibility for like just regular life again. It just felt like we had finally gotten to a place where our older child was like a lot more flexible and independent. And like we were just starting to enjoy that. And then we went back to square one and it was just awful again. And it's just now like the feeling of hope is so refreshing. Um, so yeah, there's so many things like
Yeah,
that are
feels like a new era.
yeah,
Yeah, it
I
feels like
just
a new
really,
era.
yeah,
Yeah. 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 And mom was also saying the other day, like, or today, she was saying, like, oh my gosh, when I'm at home with them, and then I've got two of them, and it's one adult per two, 9-month-old and 3-year old. She's like, I can totally do it now. Like before, it was like dread. And now she's like, I got it.
yeah, truly. I mean, I work part-time, so it's like I only have 2 days a week at home with both kids, and it was just like I dreaded those days, which was like so sad to me. Like to even say that out loud, it was like obviously I love my kids, but it was
Yeah.
like
It was just
I
too
was like, how
hard.
is this gonna work? Like I'm literally we had to hold him in the dark room for all of his naps. Like what is my toddler going to do? You know, like so it was
Mhm.
just I'm literally like in physical therapy from the back pain from like all the
Yes.
carrier naps because I had big baby too, and like carrying him on me constantly for every single nap was just like not doable. And my
Mhm.
older child was getting just like no attention, and I, was just always like hoping Carl would just like work from home, and it's just like not feasible to just not ha be able to take care of two kids by myself or vice versa, you know? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually get my time back with my older child, and I get one-on-one time with him now, and those days are just like
Yeah.
so much. There's just the regular stress of having two kids rather than
Yeah.
like the impossible stress of having two kids with one kid that's not sleeping, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah. So just daily life just gets so much easier and so much
Yeah.
more enjoyable. Okay. So if you were to meet, and I'd like both of you guys to answer this, if you were to meet a family who was like scared of sleep training,
Yeah.
um, what would you want them to know about what it's like to get support and what can happen
Yeah.
with the right support?
I mean, I can start because kept Jonah, it's like almost falling out of the bed here.
Yeah.
Um, I I'm like I feel like I'm the poster child for this because I had so much anxiety about just like the word sleep training to me is triggering. I feel like I've
Yeah.
just it feels so unnatural to me to like let my child cry without responding, like especially just as like a visceral reaction as a mom, as a postpartum mom. But like within
Yeah.
the first year, I'm like, the thought of just leaving him to cry, I'm like, there's just no way. And I felt the same way with my first. It just feels very unnatural. Um, and I like even going like into researching gentle sleep coaching in general, it's like at the end of the day, like everybody says like, oh, it's gentle, and then it's like, but your kid is still gonna cry a ton, and then it's like, okay, well, that's just it for me.
Mhm.
And so, but obviously I knew we needed help, and so when we found you, I was like, okay, this seems like a genuine compromise where I'm like, I really don't think like there's any
Yeah. He's like,
scenario in which
haha.
we're
Yeah.
leaving our child to cry on his own and he's like genuinely like needing us, genuinely in pain, genuinely upset. Like the diagrams that you showed us about like the different types of crying. I'm so sorry. This is
Yeah,
so
it's
loud.
okay.
The different types of crying and like how spot on it was. I mean, Carl was
Mhm.
the coach, but like I could hear it too, where like it is so clear to me now, like what is a true distressed cry and what is like a genuine, like
Like
annoyed
complaining.
cry.
Yeah, like a
And
complaining cry.
I
Mhm.
feel like really okay with that, and I feel very confident in when we do and do not respond. And I mean, we always respond and, whatever, but like I
Mhm.
just mean now that he's more independent, like I can, if I hear him doing like a 10 out of 10 cry that I know he's actually upset, like you're not telling us like not to go in there.
Right.
It's like
Right.
I feel like we can really distinguish that very well. And I just like, even though he did protest a bit, like I would tell anybody, like it is like the sanity that you get after going through this process and it being like truly as gentle as it possibly can be. Like I would like do this over and over again to like have the life that I have now. Like
Yes.
there's no amount of like I would pay any amount of money in the world. I would do like anything within reason to like get my child to sleep well in a way that's supportive and that's what we had and like I just would I'm not really answering the question directly but
Yep.
like I
Mhm.
had so just speaking as somebody with so much anxiety about this, like I just want people to know that it's okay.
Yeah. That you feel good about the process. There's no,
Yeah.
like you said earlier, there's no icky, there's no guilt. Every
Yeah.
step of the way you felt comfortable because we were able to collaborate on every step of the way, that we worked
Yeah.
in really small, little tiny steps so that
Yeah.
you felt comfortable. Dad was in there implementing, dad was comfortable, dad was confident.
Hmm.
So dad, what would you want someone who's scared of sleep coaching to know because you were the coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few things I want to address. So, first thing is like there was always this big question of like, is this even going to work? Because
Yeah.
it is an investment, and
Yeah.
without like a guarantee that it's going to work. And I was like kind of amazed, like if anyone's questioning like, is this going to work? Like, yes, it's definitely going to work. um, no matter where you're at, felt like we had everything going
Yeah.
against us, and it was amazing just to see how it progressed. Um, and then also like the fear aspect, I feel like that just comes from like just not knowing a lot.
Yes.
And it quickly kind of shifted into like you have all this fear, like it's not going to work, and like this baby's helpless to like I'm confident that this is going to work. I'm confident in the plan. I'm confident that I can, do it. And so all that fear kind of gets stripped away. Um, so yeah, I don't know. A
I love
huge
it.
180.
180. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, awesome. All right. Well, welcome to the well-rested family revolution. Welcome, welcome. It's a whole new world. Thank you so much for sharing all your experiences in this process and giving people courage to reach out for help. I try to be the reliable and accurate place to come for all things sleep. I work with children 6 months up to 6 years of age. It's never too late for your child to learn sleep skills. And that's like the one thing I want to say here is like sleep is a learned skill. And if we create the right environment and the right circumstances and we move at the right pace and use the right methodology to meet the temperament of the child and meet the needs of the family system, then it works. And For me, I have a sleep success guarantee. So for whatever reason, in the first 5 nights it doesn't work, you get a portion of your money back. So you still get all of that support and all of that opportunity to work one-on-one with somebody. And it's astounding how much sleep can improve in the first 3 to 5 nights. When I say it took us a month, again, we wanted to work very slow and very methodically because this child had lots of barriers to entry. I mean, needing to be in a crib for the first time, wakings every hour and a half, right? So, um, it for me, slow and methodical, what matters is the end is did we get our wish list, which we did. Um, and and we even exceeded it because now he's napping hands-free. So it's really amazing. So thank you, you guys, for sharing your story. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for helping us have the story.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
absolutely.
I know.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Dad. I love that. Thank you.